Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Odd and Untold, the podcast where we talk about all things spooky and strange. And joining me once again, this is episode 40, which I can't believe, but nice round number for my friend Courtney Mroch to join me again from Jaunts. She's your host, your guide to all things, also all things spooky and scary and strange. So Courtney, welcome thank you for coming back.
Hey, thank you for having me.
Of
Congratulations on 40.
Thank you.
That is a nice round number, and I'm a nice round guest. So
I got a nice round head. A little lumpy here or there, but for the most, it looks round on camera, so that's the important thing. All right, we're like 10 seconds in and we're already making each other laugh. So So yeah, nice round number. I didn't think I'd ever get to 40. And yeah, you've been on my show before. I just did your show a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
Which was a lot of fun. And
Para-unity,
yes, which we are a good example of. But we talked about the lack of it in the paranormal. But yeah, that was a great show. And I'll put the link to that in the comments below for everybody. Our past two shows, mine and yours, where we guested on each other's shows. But tonight, this is another one of your ideas, and I thought it was a great idea when you pitched this to me many months ago. But we were going to talk about tonight is the dangers of paranormal investigating, and all the pitfalls and pratfalls, and for this discussion, paranormal, I'm going to use this for a little bit of everything. So not just ghost hunting. Yeah, we'll do like Bigfoot hunting, UFO hunting, lake monster hunting, as well as ghost hunting. And you also mentioned demon hunting and demonology and demonologists. So I'd like to get into that with you too and pick your brain on that, because that's something that pops up a lot, and I have thoughts on it. And I'm sure
awesome.
So yes, let's start with the traditional, just ghost hunting in general, and not the demon stuff yet. Just run of the mill, typical ghost hunting. House is haunted or a business is haunted, and they paranormal investigators want to investigate. So what do you think are some of the dangers and pitfalls of paranormal investigating as far as ghost hunting goes?
The one that always comes to my mind very first is the one that everybody does that they're not supposed to do: trespassing.
I knew what you were going to say. And we did not talk about this beforehand. We kind of like 30 seconds before I pressed record, we were like, what are we talking about tonight? We'll do this one. Okay. So we did not, but I knew what you were going to say. Trespassing. Yes. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, that's just always the one I think, because we always think, oh, we're going to have an attachment or we're going to have something follow us home, which I have lots of thoughts about on that. But it's always the stuff that you don't think about, like trespassing is up for a reason. Either they don't want you there because you're in their private property, or it's condemned and there's dangerous conditions inside, whether it be rotting floorboards or mold, or it could be anything, snakes, who knows. But the ghosts are like the least of anybody's worries ever. So that's the first one. What about yours?
Yeah, I mean that's mine, and it's also like a pet peeve of mine. Just and it's funny because when I started my blog many years ago, those were the kinds of stories that were really coming out, because the shows are on the air, and the groups just started exploding, and the popularity of this just really exploded. So now everybody and their brother wanted to become a paranormal investigator and start a group, and it became increasingly difficult to get into places because now your local bar or the local business or whatever that had a reputation for being haunted and was kind of quirky was now being bombarded like every day by just tons of groups saying, hey, can we come and investigate? Can we come and investigate? Can we come and investigate? And I think that really caused a logjam, and a lot of groups just didn't care. So yeah, you'd have some trespassing. You'd have trespassing on, old tuberculosis hospitals or mental asylums. And that just became like almost daily. Like, you'd go to the news, and if you searched ghost hunters, it wasn't the TV show. It was like, oh, ghost hunters arrested, ghost hunters injured, ghost hunters, chased out of this place. Yeah. And some have died because they've gone into these places that are condemned, that are dangerous. And yeah, it's not about the ghosts. It's not about the paranormal stuff. It's just, yeah, you might fall through a floor. You might have a piece of concrete fall on your head. And is it worth it to go, to sneak into these places. Now nobody knows you're in there. A lot of these places are locked up. So if you do need help and someone does call for help, now it's like, try telling EMS that you're like in,
Where you're
so
not
and so
supposed to be.
yeah, so and so asylum, and like, what building you in? Oh, I don't know. It's the one with all the graffiti on it, and
Oh,
the
gosh.
missing roof. Like, how are they going to find you? Like, it impedes help coming to you essentially. And it's just, and yeah, I came across so many stories like that back then of just people being injured and people being arrested, and um it's also just illegal. Like, yeah, you can get into a lot of trouble.
A
And
lot of trouble.
what does that say for your group if you're trespassing and um getting arrested? And it's just bad publicity. Uh and a lot of times, you can trespass on the wrong person's property, and if they got a gun and they think you're breaking in and they think you're trying to rob them, like, you can get shot. You can, it's
Again, you can die.
you can die.
You're going to become the ghost,
Exactly.
ironically.
Exactly. Yeah, you'll find what you're looking for one way or the other. So, yeah, so that would be my number one as well. Is just the trespassing.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And it's interesting because what you said with how it exploded, when I first started back in, it was like, we'll say 99-ish, I wasn't investigating, but I like to go, do what I do, travel around, and hey, I read in this book, you have a ghost, blah, 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 blah. And people back then, you're right, they were more open about it. And then when certain places, even here in Tennessee, that were on ghost hunters or maybe ghosted, I don't know which one, but whatever one of those two, they do not advertise that they're haunted anymore. They try to squelch that because so many people, that's I think the danger on the other side of being a business. You can get too popular or misrepresented in the media. And I think you've had experiences too with that, with the shows, and they don't want any part of that anymore. They'd rather, portray themselves as history. Eastern state's a really good one. They've taken a lot, well, as last year when I looked, I don't know, maybe they're back into it, but they really were trying to, squelch. They'll talk about it, but they used to have it on their website and not anymore. Whoops, sorry. So excited with the hands.
Yeah, and I've heard very similar stories from other people I know who are in the ghost hunting field, of just that it's now become very difficult to get into places because the shows have ruined it, or trespassers have ruined it, or just
bad behavior,
or people who harass, where it's like, it's not just an email like, hey, can we come and investigate? And they say, oh, we're not doing it right now. It's then, you say no, but then there's like 12 more emails to the business or to the person who's featured in the local paper, and they're harassing them. Please let us in. We don't charge, blah, blah, blah. And it's just, who would want to deal with that? Who would want to deal with, like, and again, you and I have talked about this. For every good ghost hunting group out there who is respectful and who act professionally, there's 100 out there who don't. And, they're going to come in and it's a party for them. It's something to do on a Saturday night. It's not about
finding ghosts.
It's not about finding ghosts or, discovering knowledge, or, it's about, let's grab some pizzas and some sodas and let's scare ourselves. It's kind of like the new, let's go hang out at the graveyard or the cemetery for the teenage kids, or the, make out point where it's, the local boogeyman might come and get us. And it's just kind of taken over that. And again, I'm not disparaging every group out there, but for every good one, there's so many just who are going to come in and, like you said, bad behavior.
Yeah. It used to be the one bad apple could spoil, but this is like a million bad apples and you finding one. It's totally flip-flopped.
Yeah, definitely. So what other dangers do you foresee or do you come across when you talk about ghost hunting?
Well, let's talk about the whole, the attachment thing and everything that, a ghost is going to fall. It blows my mind. Like, first of all, I really don't even know where that started. And I tried to figure out, where did it start? Like, what was it? And is it actually Disney? Like, is it their hitchhiking ghosts? But did Disney take that from something? I can't find that answer. When I went to the Haunted Mansion had a 50th anniversary, I guess, for the one in Disneyland, and they had this really cool display set up with telling the history and they had sketches of the concept idea. Like first it was supposed to be a walkthrough, and then they told how the doom buggies came along, and then they wanted to keep everything moving and you always entertained. And it was really kind of a groundbreaking thought. But I couldn't find where they said, and a lot of things they said, well, this story was from this person, or, they took from the spiritualists with the Madame Leota and all that kind of thing. I couldn't find with the doom buggies, what they base that. So I'm not sure if they took that or if they created it, but I can't find where that was really common before 1969 for people to think, oh, it's gonna follow me. But again, we weren't also going actively seeking a haunted house. So I don't know. Do you know anything about that?
I actually don't. And I know there's old stories of the hitchhiking ghost and more of just
getting in your car
and kind of following you a little bit. But yeah, like you, I don't know if that's like, it's kind of like a chicken or egg scenario with the Disney thing of like, is this going to follow you home? I don't know if the shows perpetuated that of, be careful, you're going to go in here and this ghost is, going to attach itself to you. I think just so many people impart their own beliefs onto this, and I hate to say this, but like they anthropomorphize it, where they sort of attribute very human behaviors or human experience behaviors to ghosts, and it's almost like this lost little puppy that like, don't feed it or it's going to follow you home, and don't be too nice to it. It's going to follow you home. And like the same thing, like, oh, if you talk to this ghost too much, it's going to follow you home. And it's like, where's the basis of evidence for this, or is this just something you're afraid of? And I think a lot of it is psychological too. I think, if you spend a night ghost hunting and stuff does happen to you and you're like, oh my God, I had experiences, then when you get home, you might just have this heightened sense of awareness of every little noise and every little weird thing that happens to you that's not necessarily paranormal, but because you like, now you're a ghost hunter and you've, got it on the brain. So I don't know if that's just like power of suggestion, but yeah, I'm also not sure where this attachment thing came from, but it's something people are like really fervent about and really like, you better be careful, like it'll be attached to you and don't go do this. And people have all sorts of rituals that they want you to do and or suggest you should do. And we never did it. We just went, we're more skeptical, I guess. But, anytime we did it, we didn't imagine the white light surrounding us or like who knows what works, who knows what doesn't work.
Exactly.
So
I don't know. People think that's a danger. And I'm like, and also, are you that interesting somebody wants to follow? I'm not personally. There's no, unless if they thought, oh, she's funny, but then they get here and they're like, wow, she's really boring. All she does is sit and watch TV or write. Like they'd be so bored.
Yeah, come on home with me. Come on and just watch me eat my Cheetos while I,
exactly.
watch old episodes of Seinfeld or whatever. And yeah, I'm not that interesting. And yeah, I think it's just that people project their fears that are not based in any reality or any evidence. It's just, oh, this thing will attach itself to you. And for every story I've heard where someone says this did happen, I mean, I know tons of ghost hunters who they don't protect themselves in any way and they've never had an attachment. So I don't know, so I do wonder if it's power of suggestion, if it's just that it's on their mind and they think something followed them home because now they're just hyper aware of every little noise and weird thing. And, oh, my keys are missing. I put them on the table and now they're on the counter and the ghost must have done it. No, maybe you just forgot where you put them and you thought you put them on the table. You start attributing stuff to ghosts. So on the flip side, who knows? You're dealing with, if you believe in the paranormal, you're dealing with energies and powers that we don't understand. So maybe there is such thing as an attachment. I mean, I just know I've never dealt with it. I've never experienced it. I don't know anybody who has, really. So yeah, I suppose it's something to be cautious of. Because yeah, something could follow you home, but
it could.
At the end of the day, what is so dangerous about that?
Yeah. And then could you get in trouble? Like say you were at some place, you weren't trespassing, you had permission, you were there, the ghost comes home with you, all of a sudden isn't haunting that place anymore. Could that person like sue you because you all of a sudden took their star attraction? Like, that's another date. I mean, it's never happened, but that would be hilarious in our day and age, with how people are so happy. I could see that spin coming around.
Yeah, you investigated our restaurant and now it's not haunted anymore. You stole our ghost.
Yeah.
You didn't take any glasses or plateware or anything, but you took our ghost, and now we
ghost napping.
Ghost napping, new crime. Yeah, but like you said, you never hear of that. You never hear of a place complaining, "Oh, we had paranormal investigators in here, and it followed them home, and now we're not haunted anymore." So I don't know. It's just
that's another spin. And there are people, you see them on TV talk about, "Oh, this thing followed me home," and again, I don't. It could. I don't want to disparage anybody or take away from it. Like you said, is it more here or did it really? And like you really said, you really hit it. We don't know anything about the paranormal. We think we do, and there's maybe some things we sort of, have a clue about, but not. We can't recreate it. We can't make it happen. We have no idea what the energy. We don't even know if we're measuring what the frequencies and all of the parameters. We don't know if we're measuring it right or not. So it's tough to say on both sides. So that's a danger too, because you get too confident or too serious, or what's the word I'm looking for, where you think you really know, but maybe
like
you really
overconfident.
Don't. Yeah, that's a good word.
And that just sparks something in me of like the other side of paranormal investigating. If you're the one being investigated, if it's your home, if it's your business, there are people who will come in and tell you, "Oh, we'll get the ghost out of here for you." How can they promise that? Some people will charge. So I think there's a danger on that side.
Scammers.
If you're not the paranormal investigator, if you're the investigatee, if you're the one being investigated, if it's your home, your business, because I've heard of that too, of people being scammed by ghost hunters, and they say, "Well, for $150, we'll come in and we'll sage everything and we'll, cleanse your place." And I've gotten emails too, like people saying, "Hey, how much do you charge to come cleanse my home or house?" And I'm like,
"Oh no,
no, we don't cleanse. Like, we're there to kind of debunk and investigate, and but." We're not Ghostbusters. We don't have proton packs. We don't, I wish we did. I'd probably use them more on fellow human beings than ghosts. Me too. But that's a story for another time. But but yeah, I've heard a lot of that, of people being scammed, being lied to. They'll tell them they captured things. They'll tell them, "Yeah, you definitely have a ghost. We need to come back." And it turns into their personal pet project. And, these people are just putting their faith into the ghost hunters, these paranormal investigators, and they're being scammed either out of money or time or both. And so I think that's a real danger. I think, it's not just if you're the investigator and worried about falling through the floor or, it's don't pay money to these people who charge. What are they charging for? They're charging for something, you hire a plumber to fix your toilet. Okay, he comes in and he fixes it and now it flushes and it's fixed. And here's your money, sir, or ma'am. But with the ghost, how do you know that they've actually cleansed your house? And how do you know the ghost is gone? You don't.
You do not. And you don't even know if it was even there.
Exactly.
It could have been a plumbing issue all along. Some weird pipe problem.
And it usually is. It's usually more of a plumbing or electrical or other household problem than an actual
settling foundation. Yeah. Drafts.
Yeah.
Who knows? Oh boy. That's a good danger.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's all I know.
Any other ones come to mind as far as investigating? I don't think
that's a really good one. I cannot match that one.
Yeah, and I mean, I think just in general, it's you have to be careful. You're going into someone's house, you're going into their business. A lot of times the lights are out. I think it's just good to practice caution. Make sure you have plenty of flashlights, because even if you're allowed to be there, it can be dangerous. It can be, because
and actually you bring up a good one with the flashlights, because Destination Fear did their whole last, I guess it's the first part of their most recent season, no flashlights, and everybody was like, what the hell are you thinking? Like, you that's a recipe for disaster. Don't do that. And they had one stumble, I think, at Winchester Mystery House. Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
But yeah, you're right, that's you definitely, if you're gonna go in, be prepared with because that's a danger too. Like even having flares, like I never thought, I don't know if you carried them, but if you are going to be someplace remote, abandoned, that might be hard for you, have flares so that you can shoot them off to have people come locate you faster. I mean, there's just a lot of things like that wouldn't thought about till we were talking about it.
Yeah. Yeah. And a lot of people don't. They, I can't get around my own house without a flashlight, without in the dark. I got to turn lights on, and about like the back of your hand. So if you're in a building, whether it's a house or a business, whatever it is, and you're not familiar with it and the lights are out, you don't know what you're going to come across. And again, a lot of these places are older. There's nails sticking out. I mean, we've had injuries on, investigations, and we're careful, but you never know if there's a nail sticking out, or, it's just, it's dark and you miss a step or something and you twist an ankle. I mean, it can just, it's
go bad fast.
It can go bad fast. So there are dangers to it. There are dangers. And that's why you have to take it seriously and be professional and be prepared, and not just be the group that just wants to trespass and go in and have a good Saturday night.
Drink. Oh boy.
Drink and scare yourselves. That's not what this should be about. And people have to be real careful about who they invite into their homes.
Yeah. And what if, I haven't ever heard of, maybe you have, but on the flip side of that, what if somebody invites you into their home and they're like, who's the guy in Silence of the Lamb, and they have a well in their basement they want to throw you in and eat you or something? Who knows? But I haven't heard of that, but it could happen.
It could happen. You don't know, especially, you have younger people doing this. You have women doing this. You have a lot of people can't start a group. So it's an individual trying to go into someone's home. And then it's like, yeah, come down to the basement with me and just peek in that hole right there for a second. That's where the ghost is. And then they push you in, and they never, you never heard from again.
Nope. Sayonara, sweetheart. Maybe that's why we haven't heard about it. Maybe they didn't tell. It could be some, it could have happened.
Could have happened. And then, another one, which is not really a danger, but it's something to be cautious about, is just property damage. Like,
oh, that's a good one.
Because you're inviting people into your home, or you're going into someone's home or business, and, they turn around and knock something over and it's broken. Like, are they going to pay for it now?
Or if they get hurt in your house and your homeowner's insurance. I mean,
right. Can they
sue you? There's just so many. Ooh, that's a good one. Or if they blame you for stealing something and you didn't take, I mean, it just seems, most people are pretty good, but I'm so cautious. I just don't want to tempt fate.
Yeah. And it can be scary because, like you said, like you can go to someone's home who's not all there, and then you leave, and the next day they're calling you up and like, all my jewelry is missing. You guys took it. And how do you prove you didn't? Like now it's your word against theirs, and they're going to go to the police and say, hey, these people came in and took my jewelry. And now you're dealing with the police and
oh God,
maybe being sued. And it's things you have to think about. So you really have to vet on both sides. You got to vet each other. You got to say who, and there's people we've turned down because you just get a bad vibe off them. So I don't want to investigate your place.
Wow. So that did happen where you were like, I don't think I
and again, it's not something we could have put our finger on really and said, oh, this is why, but it's just like something's not right here. We just don't feel comfortable.
Something in your gut. The gut is so crucial. Yeah.
It really is. So you got to be careful. So on both sides, because like you said, injury, someone gets injured or someone steals something or they claim you stole something, or it's it can get real hairy. So you got to be careful. So
big time.
Yeah. So both sides should really try to protect themselves and sign some sort of agreement. And
and the good thing, I guess, if you have the cameras up, at least you can kind of prove some things, but sometimes you don't always have things rolling or
Yeah, and it's most groups don't have a camera for every angle in every room in the building. So
No.
otherwise you're talking about dozens and dozens of cameras, and that can be tough. And again, even if they accuse you and you say, oh, here, you turn over the footage, there could always be footage missing. It could always be edited before it gets turned over to the police. And again, we're going like worst case scenario here. I haven't really heard about this stuff, but it's just things that always occur to us. And that's why we've turned places down, because we've just sort of felt not quite right about somebody or something about it. Yeah. So a lot of times in those cases, we'll just give like advice over email or phone or whatever, and just say, try this. And, and we usually never hear back from them, but.
Interesting.
Yeah. But you gotta be careful.
Oh, that's good though, that you listen.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think that's the key thing. Always listen to your gut.
Oh yeah. I tell that to everybody. Like that's the most important piece of equipment is your own instinct. Again, if you don't feel comfortable in a place, don't go there.
I need to get a new headset or something. Or talk less with my hands.
So another thing I wanted to get into, and we mentioned it earlier, demonologists and demon hunting, which is kind of this offshoot of ghost hunting. And what are your thoughts on that?
Do you want my honest ones?
Of course.
BS.
Thank you.
I just can't. Anything, the demon stuff for me is like an automatic turn off. And unfortunately, I'm listening to this brilliant podcast. I should set you up with her because she's fascinating. Or maybe you've already heard of. Maybe you turned her my way. Her name's Lindsay Brisbane, and she did the podcast, The Chilling.
No, I haven't heard of that.
It's really good. And well, it started out really good. And I hate it because now I'm into the part where they're like, it's demons. It was a demon. I'm like, no, it was so good until this episode. It's like the 4th episode I'm on now. I'm like, don't do the demons, because I just think it's so, who knows? There very well could be demons, but we don't know what they are. I mean, nobody's ever seen one, caught one. We blame an awful lot of stuff on them, but it drives me crazy. So I don't know. And if you are a person hunting demons, how the heck did you go to demon school? Like, how do you get that? So to me, that seems like a huge red flag, a huge danger, because you're saying ultimately that you're better than the demon and you can conquer it and you have all the knowledge how to handle it right. And I don't think people, if there really are demons, they definitely have the upper hand over us. I don't care what you say. I don't care what religion you are. They have more than you do. So I don't know. What do you think about it?
I agree with you. It's BS. I think Pete, they talk about demons. They talk about, they have this power and it's minions of the devil. And it just makes you wonder, like, if they're demons, if they're demonic, why are they so limited in power? You'd think there'd be much more evidence of this. You'd think there'd be,
conquer our world, wouldn't they?
The world would have been conquered because, they can possess anybody. They can make you crawl up walls. They can make the walls bleed. They can, make the shutters flap and all this stuff that people claim that oddly enough, no one can ever capture on video. But they keep telling you, these demons are going to do this, the demons are going to do that. And it's like, you keep saying that and it keeps not happening. So yeah, where's the apocalypse? Where's the devil trying to come down and take over Earth, and Jesus and his minions are going to fight them? And it's just, we had a case once where this woman out in New Jersey, she called us. I guess we were the second group she called, because she called a group in because she was having some weird stuff happen in her house. And she called this local group in, and she said they were young, but they came in and they convinced her she had demons, or they tried to convince her she had demons. This is demonic, blah, blah, blah. You have to do this. You have to go out and buy all this stuff, and we'll do this for you. And again, they were going to try to charge her because we're fighting demons.
Oh, gosh.
And she didn't buy it, luckily. And
good.
She called us, and we went out there. And it just turned out her refrigerator was really old, and it had a very high EMF spike. So we were like, look, like, this can mess with your brain. It's an old fridge. It's not properly shielded. So it's kind of putting out a lot of EMF, and some people are sensitive to that, and it can make you hallucinate either visually, auditorily. So we said, just, maybe get a new fridge or get it fixed, and, call us in a couple of weeks. And she did, and it stopped, and it's like, no, it's not demons. It's not, but these kids, and she said they were very young. They were probably like college kids, but they were trying to tell her that she had demons. And boy. It's just, like what you said earlier, like, we just don't know. We don't know what it is. And why does everybody automatically jump to the demon thing? I don't know. I think some people just want to think they're tough and that they fight demons and they're Buffy the Vampire Slayer or something. I don't know. I really don't know why not everyone, but all these people who do that.
Popular. Yeah.
It's so popular. And again, Ghost Adventures has not helped that. Some of the TV shows have not helped that with, oh, it's a demon. And, maybe it's just an angsty teenage ghost who is into heavy metal or something. Like, you don't know, doesn't make it a demon.
That's it. And what if it's just something we misunderstand? Like, what if it's a caveman ghost and they don't communicate and they're, more aggressive than a normal? I mean, I don't know. We don't know what it is. And like, you really hit the nail on the head. Like, why, if they were that all powerful, why would they mess around with little kids, possessing them like this exorcist boy and such small time? Why wouldn't they go for whole towns, whole cities, turn people against each other? Like, if they had power to rain chaos, that's what I'd do as a demon. But
yeah, take over a world leader, take over somebody who's got their finger on the nuclear code button and just start World War III. But they don't. Like you said, they're always taking over some child in some podunk town. And again, on the flip side of that, there are some really interesting exorcism stories. There's really, there are some of these stories that you hear where the allegedly possessed person is speaking in languages they shouldn't know, or they have knowledge they shouldn't know about strangers coming into that. And, you do hear this, and it's all anecdotal, so I don't know what to make of it. But again, interesting doesn't mean demonic. My stance is that it's probably just mental illness. And that's what a lot of the old demonic possessions were just mental illness that was not being diagnosed because we didn't have a name for such things back then. And of course, it's the devil trying to take over this person. And, you throw enough holy water on them and they're fine. And it's very bizarre. And there's just too many holes in the story. Just too many things that you can just say, well, if the demon possessed this person, why are they then so obvious about it? You'd think the demon would possess the person and then just go cause trouble. They're not going to just lay in their room and yell and scream. And I don't know. It's just
what is that really fun for the demon? Like, is that, I can't.
I don't
really. That's the whole purpose of this.
Yeah, you're using your mystical demonic powers to
shit on yourself. I mean, shit on the body that you. Sorry, didn't mean to be so graphic, but
that's okay. But it's true. It's true. Like, why not actually cause some trouble? Take over a world leader. Take over somebody in power, and be subtle about it. And not to get political here, but some people may say that's already happened with certain. I don't know, depending on your beliefs.
That's true.
But even then, they didn't do all that much damage. So here we are. But it's. Yeah, I mean, I don't think the demonic stuff is dangerous because I don't think it's real. I don't.
Yeah, that's me.
Yeah, I just think it's something that people who want to seem cool like to say, or people who are just charlatans, like a certain couple who was invested in a lot of books and movies, and they conjured up a lot of scares in their time.
Just in case you didn't know who you're.
In case you didn't know who I was talking about, I'm not going to name names, but there's a married couple who just hoaxed the entire world, and there's still people to this day who believe, that the Amityville house
fervently,
the Amityville. I'm like, no, that was a total fraud. There's people living there now, and nothing's going on. Like,
why would it just stop? Like, it something
just wouldn't. Right, something that powerful, that is that evil, just the
And it's
family.
very, it's so funny how often the demon stuff is with money. Like you said, with the podunk, it could be, even if it's urban, it could be, it's almost always people with very severe money problems, almost always. And it just makes you wonder, are they trying to get, like, it's so weird. I haven't heard of a case of a millionaire, being possessed by a demon, but
Yeah,
I guess
there
could
always seems
happen.
to be the story and then the book and then the movie and certain people profiting off this story. Uh, so I mean, right there, it just tells you this should be looked at more closely. And so much stuff has come out about a lot of these stories, like Amityville and The Conjuring, and these other stories where it's like, well, that's not entirely true.
What
It's not
happened?
entirely how it happened, but people want to believe this so badly that they will
They,
tell you Amityville
yeah,
really happened, and like, no, like,
they ignore it. And there's even, I'm not sure if they had the DNA evidence, but they did say that they felt the sister, that it was actually him and the sister, because they couldn't figure I guess they had always thought that, but they couldn't figure out how one person could have killed, the DeFeo case that
right.
started the whole, and they think that it was his sister and that he ended up killing the sister, which I, I don't remember though if they had if they went back and, people now re-examined the evidence, or if they had DNA or something that they felt that's pretty sure what happened. So that's not a demon. That's just a brother and sister being assholes. I mean,
Right. But I think that piece of the truth helps feed into the lies of the
oh,
paranormal story. Because now you can say, oh, DeFeo was possessed by a demon and the house is
wow.
cursed. And now people buy into that because it's easier to swallow that than to just be like, some people are just born evil. Some people are just mentally ill. Some people are just going to murder their families. And it's not because a demon told them to do it, or a neighborhood dog told them to do it, or whatever. It's just some people are just bad people. And
They're
that's
just wired. Yeah.
right. And I think it's more comforting for some people to just accept that, oh, it must have been a demon. It must have been a demon coming in and controlling this person to kill his family, because no human being would do that. But yet human beings do horrible things all the time, and it can't always be demons.
No,
Um,
we blame a lot of stuff on those demons. And if I was a demon, I'd be mad and take over the people that were blaming me all the time.
exactly. Exactly. And it's just, it has just become like this sort of catch all. Um, like, if they don't understand what's going on, you must have a demon. It's got to be demonic because you woke up with a scratch on your back, or a cross fell off the wall. It's got to be demonic. And um, are you familiar with that house that Zach bought, the demon house out in, I believe it was Illinois,
Indiana?
Indiana? Was it
Yeah.
Indiana? And that was another one where they made all sorts of allegations, and that social workers witnessed this and cops witnessed it, and the kid was walking on the ceiling. And but again, nobody ever once thought to take out a cell phone. Nobody ever thought to like set up a camera. Like, this
Camera.
was something that was supposedly happening like on a daily basis, 24/7. But nobody ever decided to just say, hey, let's, the kid's walking on the ceiling again. Let's get, video of this. Like, nobody ever did. Um, but people believe it. They just blindly, like, oh, Zach says it happened, and the woman who lived
It
there says it
happened.
happened, and it must have happened, and it's totally demonic. And it's uh but yeah, you also get like poltergeist stuff, which um is very similar, like to demonic stuff, because it's usually like a young child involved. Whereas poltergeist cases are more playful and mischievous, and demonic stuff is usually nastier. But um yeah, so you hear about all these demonic things, but again, you never hear of anybody being killed on a demonic investigation or investigation of a demon or possession.
It's true. And
So
if you thought if it was that dangerous, that I don't know, I guess they feel that God will protect them, but I don't know. It's weird to me. It's a really
yeah,
weird,
and again, I don't want to like disparage anyone's beliefs, like religious
right.
beliefs.
No,
That's a separate, we're not talking about exorcisms sort of condoned by the church.
no.
um where they feel like it's necessary. We're talking about, yeah, the 19-year-olds who are out there going into people's homes and,
saying I'm a
hearing,
demonologist.
right, saying I'm a demonologist, and they hear a footstep and they say, oh, you definitely got demons. We got to come back 12 more times and let us investigate so we can put it up on our website and, get hits for our YouTube channel. And that's what we're talking about. So we're not trying to disparage anyone's religion.
No.
And podunk, I don't want to disparage that either. Some people live in podunk towns. I would love to live in a podunk town. I live in the podunk part of New York City, Staten Island, which we're kind of like the backwater of New York City. But no, I would love to live in one of those places because I hate the city. But so no, we're not trying to disparage anyone here. We're just sort of saying the people who try to scare their clients,
they're the danger.
They're the danger. They're the danger of, that you're not going to die of demons. Demons aren't going to come and kill you. If they could, we'd all be dead. Demons would have just ravaged the earth already.
And we have not really ever heard that before. So
no.
There's not anything really to fear.
Right. But I think on the other side of that, I think people can take advantage of you for their own gain, whether it's financial, whether it's fame, both. Again, there's usually a book that's written. There's usually a YouTube channel that's associated with it that gets lots of hits because, oh, look at the demons. And here's a blurry photo of some dark shape in a basement. And they definitely have demons. Like, comment, subscribe. And there's the danger.
Perfect. That's the real demon.
Exactly. But it bothers me that people will frighten people and tell them that you have a demon. Like this woman we helped in New Jersey. Like, and I'm so happy that she didn't believe them. Like, they were really going hard on her, trying to convince her, you have a demon, you have to let us come back.
Oh,
and she's like, yeah, no, thank you. I'm going to call someone else. And she did. And we went in and like within 5 minutes, we're like, this radiator is just the refrigerator is giving off tons of EMF. Like, and she was like, oh, I'm thinking about buying a new one anyway. I said, yeah, do it. Get a nice new modern refrigerator. And yeah, we called her like a couple of weeks later and she's like, yeah, I haven't heard anything since. And we're like, yeah, it's probably just the radiator. You're coming home. Yeah, you're coming home from work and you're eating dinner. It's right, and it's just kind of hitting your head. And she said she would, read in the kitchen a lot. So she was near the I keep saying radiator, the refrigerator a lot. The haunted radiator.
The haunted radiator. Did you know there's a haunted refrigerator night in October?
Oh, is there?
Yeah.
I did not know that.
Why I know that? It's like October 28th or something.
Because you are the curator of Jaunts. You know all this cool stuff.
Weird days. I love weird days. So when you said refrigerator, I'm like, ooh, haunted refrigerator night.
Tell us about haunted refrigerator night.
I don't even know what it's
like. Okay.
I've looked it up and I don't know who created it or why or how I even first found it. So, but I do need to know that. I don't know if you're like supposed to clean out your refrigerator. I don't know.
Oh,
it's
maybe.
So
like,
weird.
yeah, you leave like the it's like the corpses of dinners past all the way in the back of the fridge.
And that's a big danger.
It is.
Bad food.
I pulled something out of my fridge earlier. I was looking for lunch and I was like, ooh, this has got to go. This is probably older than my son. So
oh no, that's a hospital visit waiting to happen.
Yeah. So I tossed that. But yeah, we all have it. We all have the weird things hiding in the back of our fridge. So that, yeah, maybe that's it. Maybe it's like haunted refrigerator night. Like we got to just get rid of all the stuff in our fridge. Yeah, clean it out.
Give it to the trick-or-treaters. No, just kidding.
So yeah, demonic stuff. Be careful of the ghost hunters telling you got demons. That's the caution for that, I think, is on the client side. Like,
yes.
Be very careful. Anybody telling you they know exactly what it is, be careful of that.
Full of it.
It's full of it because nobody knows.
Need a laxative. No. Sorry, never know what will come out of this.
It's a very scatological episode today. Lots of bullshit and shitting themselves and laxatives and
see, that's my 11-year-old is in there too.
Oh God. So I'm glad we talked about that. I'm glad you brought that up because the demon stuff just drives me nuts.
Me too.
And again, I'm not saying we know for certain either way, but it just annoys me when people say they know definitively that you got demons.
Yeah.
And this is what you got to do.
Yeah.
And, give us $50 or $100 and we'll come in and clean the demon out.
We'll solve it for
We'll
you.
solve it for you. No, you will not.
No.
So other forms of paranormal investigating. One that strikes me as dangerous: Bigfoot hunting.
I think of you every time. I'm like, that's a good one because there's so many things on both sides of that to be wary, cautious of.
Yeah, definitely.
And you probably know way better than I. Like, I can only think of but you've been out there doing it. So you probably have.
Yeah, and I mean, not even that much. I mean, I say I go Bigfoot hunting, but I really don't. Like, we're very our Bigfoot hunting is basically sitting around the campfire drinking beer.
Oh,
and waiting for Bigfoot to roll up.
Sit down, pop one
down.
open.
Yeah, exactly. And, you know, we're being hunted by Bigfoot. That's how we hunt for Bigfoot. But yeah, I mean, for us, it's for me, I don't want to drag Josh into this. Poor Josh, who just likes to go camping. And then I'm always talking Bigfoot and stuff. But honestly, like for us, you know, for me, I've always felt like most of these encounters, alleged Bigfoot encounters, happen to people who are not looking for Bigfoot. It's the family in the woods for a hike, or the people going out on a fishing camping trip or something.
Oh, there it went.
Oh, your camera just went out.
And I'll switch over to oops. There it is.
You go. There you go.
Sorry.
That's okay.
Back again.
Back again. So what was I saying? Oh yeah, just that most of these encounters sort of happen by accidents. People who aren't actively looking, they're just kind of going about their business and they say they run into one of these creatures. So for me, it just always seems silly to go into the woods and howl and bang on trees. And it's just like, if there's a creature in the woods that's trying to hide and you're doing that, like, you're just scaring it off. Like, you're not going to find it. You're coming in and banging on trees and, you know, you're yelling and the thing's going to run from you.
Yeah, that's how you get so that a bear doesn't come after you.
Right. And that's one of the big dangers of Bigfoot hunting is the wildlife. And where I go, it's really the bears we got to worry about. And I guess there's reports of mountain lions or cougars or leopards or whatever the fashionable thing is to call them these days. But you got to watch out for the wildlife because you're out in the woods. And if you don't know what you're doing, like a bear will come into camp, or, you know, you might stumble upon.
Oh, good.
And that's another thing. Like, people want to go in the woods and be really quiet, and that's not good. Because you stumble upon.
You startle something.
Exactly. Yeah. If something hears you coming, it's gonna, you know, waddle off. But if you turn the bend and something didn't hear you coming, and it's a mama bear with her cubs, you got some trouble.
You're toast.
You're toast. So when we walk in, we're always making a lot of noise. We talk to each other, you know, our packs are kind of clanging as we walk. And because you don't want to surprise something. You don't want to come up on something that's not hearing you and then is like, oh shit, I gotta defend my cubs, or I gotta defend myself. You know, an animal that's cornered is gonna be very dangerous. But yeah, if you're just out in nature, I mean, there's all sorts of things. I mean, you step on a rock the wrong way, you're twisting your ankle.
Yeah.
And now you're 3 miles in. How do you get help? You know,
that's the worst.
Yeah, a lot of places there's no cell phone signal. So again, we're talking about everything except Bigfoot here, because Bigfoot's a separate issue as far as danger goes. But yeah, you got to really, I mean, it's just nature will kill you.
It will.
It will.
No questions asked.
No question.
There's no trespassing sign up. It's already a given that if you come on my territory, you're fair game.
Yeah, so you got to go in prepared. You got to go in with a plan to get out. You got to go in prepared for any weather. You know, we almost got hypothermic one time in August.
Oh my gosh.
Because it rained so much, like we got soaked to our skin.
Oh.
And it was August and it wasn't hot. It was probably like 60 degrees.
Oh.
But
with rain.
With the cold rain and the wind,
ooh,
we were really feeling like by the time we got to the car, we were like another half hour, we would have been in real trouble. Like, because we didn't have our ponchos with us.
Oh my gosh.
And we were walking out and like, oh, a little rain, you know, but it took us like 3 hours. Like, you're in the rain for 3 hours, like exposure like that will just, it was bad. And it was just, you know, a learning experience because Yeah, we'll bring the ponchos, we'll bring the we forgot them, and
Oh no.
very bad. We were just soaked to the skin. And
Oh my gosh.
yeah, and it was August, like we could have died of hypothermia. We could have gotten hypothermic.
Oh my
Um,
gosh.
so just lesson for everybody, like be prepared. Be prepared for anything. Uh, be prepared to stay an extra night or two. Make sure you have extra food, extra water, because you never know your buddy can fall and, break an ankle, and you got to go out, get a ranger, come back in, and that can take hours. You don't know how long that's going to be. And if
Ooh.
you're out of water, if you're out of food, that's a long 8 hours to go without
Oof.
provisions. So you always have to plan your trip. And again, I don't think there's too many. I don't think Bigfoot hunting gets as much of the uh
BS like the demon stuff.
yeah, or the casual
Oh yeah,
hunters.
because people are more, yeah, you have to invest a little bit more. And a
Right.
lot of people don't like to go out into nature and stuff. So
Yeah. And I think if you're going out there, most people who go Bigfoot hunting have some knowledge of the woods and the proper gear. I mean, you don't need anything to go ghost hunting. You would go to a cemetery and bring
yeah,
your cell phone and just record. You use that
yeah.
as an audio recorder and just, is anybody here with us? You can do an EVP session very easily. So yeah, if you're trespassing, if you just want to start a ghost hunting group, you don't need much equipment. You don't need much of anything. You can just go and do it. And it's usually close by. It's the local business, the local restaurant, the
Ooh,
local
that's a
haunted
good point
house.
too.
Whereas, someone like me, if I want to go Bigfoot hunting, I got to go hours out of the city.
Oh my gosh.
I can't just go.
That's
I just can't, walk down the road and say I'm going to go Bigfoot hunting tonight. It's a little bit more of an investment as far as time, as far
commitment.
as
Yeah,
equipment. So, but yeah, I think with the
that
Bigfoot hunting, it's you really got to watch out for nature, just the
I
weather,
agree.
the wild animals, and Bigfoot. If Bigfoot's
Yeah,
out there, like
just in case.
just in case, he would be a wild animal too, or
He
she.
could, yeah, he could be, she could be. They could have babies. Don't know.
Well, you would need both to have a population
That's
of.
true.
It's not just like one Bigfoot walking around and it's like Elvis, everybody's trying to. Yeah, so you need lots of different Bigfoot. Um, so yeah, so that's something you got to be careful of. Like, don't just run into the woods and we're going to hunt for Bigfoot. And again, I don't think that happens too often. You see a lot of these ghost hunter trespassing or ghost hunters arrested or ghost hunters
But
injured.
not Bigfoot trespass,
No,
no. And not very many with the getting hurt or lost or that's more
yeah,
I don't know if they're just more prepared or it's just yeah, because they you don't I don't think I've ever heard of something like that.
what would be really dangerous
What?
is hoaxing a Bigfoot sighting. The last thing you want to do is put on a gorilla suit and
Oh
walk into the
my
woods
gosh. Oh my gosh.
where the good old boys all have
Guns. Nope.
their guns because they're out there hunting. They're out there, looking
They
for
will.
deer, looking for, and they
Has that
see.
ever happened?
I have seen some reports of that of people
Pretending and getting shot?
pretending and getting shot or being almost shot.
I wanted because I think there was one that when you said that I'm like I think somebody did almost get shot or something. They're like, wait.
There was I have to pull it up and I'll put it in the link, the description below, because I think I did a blog post on it where somebody shot someone and claimed he thought he was Bigfoot. And
Oh
there was a
my
little bit of
God.
sketchiness to it because they were like, did he really think he was Bigfoot or was he trying to kill this guy? And he
Oh,
missed. And then the guy was like, hey, this guy tried to shoot me. And he was like, oh, I thought he was Bigfoot. So I think that was the way the story went. But
whoa, that's a defense. Bigfoot made me do it.
Bigfoot made me do it. But that is one of those things that, yeah, if you're going to hope, that would be a very dangerous proposition to go
Oh,
into the woods. And again, I'm sorry I said good old boys. I'm just,
no, but that's a good one. Oh, I love it. That's a good
because
danger one.
yeah, but you got hunters in the woods. You got guys with guns who are deer hunting or bear hunting or whatever they're hunting for. They're armed. And even people who aren't hunting, a lot of people who go camping, we go camping, we're armed.
They have, yeah,
And if
lots of
someone
people.
at night ran at me in a gorilla suit, I'm shooting. I'm not going to stop and be like, hey, are you a guy in a gorilla suit? Like, I'm shooting you first. And then,
Are you going to hurt me or not? If you're rushing at me, I'm just assuming.
Yeah, if you're look like a huge gorilla and you're running at me and it's dark and I don't know, we're miles inside the woods, like I'm going to shoot you. So that could be
Now
very
you know.
dangerous. Now you know. Um, Another danger, and I was watching this documentary a couple of years back, but there's a lot of, and this is much more in on the West Coast, but the like pot farmers.
Oh yeah. Oh, did you that was it on Hulu? That
Yes.
documentary?
Yep.
That was
With the
fantastic.
guy who went undercover and
Yes.
yeah, and like the migrant workers got killed and they were trying to blame it on Sasquatch. And I
Yes.
think the show was actually called Sasquatch. I think it's still on Hulu.
Yes, that was fantastic.
Yeah, but it's all about how you have the pot farmers, and again, they're all armed. They're trying to protect their crop, which is big bucks. And if you stumble onto that in your search for Bigfoot, you might get shot because these guys don't know who you are. They don't know if you're the feds. They don't know if you're a rival drug dealer or
And they just
grower.
assume you're against them. There's no asking. There's
Right,
just
right.
shooting.
Yeah, because it's you're up in the mountains. It's their land,
Oh
and
my
you stumble
gosh.
upon it. And yeah, I mean, most people are gonna maybe try to chase you. They're gonna address you first before they start shooting. Most people. But I think a pot farmer is more likely to shoot first and ask questions later, rather than just the old guy who's like at his cabin retired and trying to enjoy his life, and kids just bumble onto his property. He might come out with his gun and just say, "Hey, you're trespassing. You got
Get
to
out
go."
of here.
But the pot farmers
Whippersnappers.
may shoot first and ask questions later. So
From the sounds of that documentary, so I was like, nope, nope, that's one
yeah,
place.
those
Where is that so I can avoid it?
yeah, that's
That's a big X on my map. No,
mhm.
eggs don't go there. Crossbones.
Yeah, that was a terrifying documentary to know that
Yeah.
it's like the Wild West in those woods.
Wow.
It's just these wars, armed guys, not just with like shotguns, these guys with like military grade machine guns, and
It
they will wipe,
sounded terrifying.
yeah, they will wipe you out and you will disappear. No one will find your body. And if the
That
police
was a
come looking,
fantastic one. I love that documentary.
yeah, it was very interesting and, debunked the Sasquatch sightings, not fully, but of course, for those guys who's, were allegedly killed by Bigfoot.
Bigfoot. Oh yeah, it really was like, that was a good one.
Yeah.
We had where this doesn't have to do with Bigfoot, but where we have our sailboat on Percy Priest Lake,
Mhm.
they had it was on Paranormal, caught on camera or something. It was Mermaid Nashville Mermaid something. I'm like, that's right where, like, literally our marina, the dam is right there. It was literally where she was spotted was right there. And some of our marina neighbors said, oh yeah, we see the mermaid out here. It's just the lady with a fin that comes out and swims. It's not a real mermaid, obviously. And but I was having some fun with it, taking our boat out and, oh, we're going to go mermaid hunting and being stupid. But you have to be careful, like you said, with the water, the wind, currents. There's lots of people have drowned just jumping right again by our marina. There's Nashville Shores Water Park, and a guy had jumped off a boat, didn't come back. That happens every summer a few times. But it's usually the other side, like not right by us, jumped off this boat, didn't come up, the current got him. And I felt it. I've jumped off and felt that current.
Mm.
And it's like, oh crap. Like, I hope I will get back to the surface. And you wouldn't think that there'd be a current, like you think, oh, I was thinking ocean current, riptide stuff, not a lake, not a contained lake, but no, they're there. So you have to be careful. And like what you said with your weather when you were in the rain,
Mm-hmm.
we have not personally gotten caught in a squall, but they come fast. So we watch I'm so novice at it that I wouldn't really know what to do and I'd freak out. And that's the last thing. You want to always be in control. But we watch, and our neighbors had gone out. They had some issues. So you always have to, be aware. It's not, I don't think it's going to be the ghost, the vampire, or the vampire, the mermaid, the Bigfoot, the demons. I don't think that's going to kill you. I think it's all this other stuff that's so dangerous that things sometimes you don't even know about, and then boom, you're hit with it. That's what kills you. That's the dangers. But
Oh,
I had
definitely.
to, when you brought that up with the machine guns, I'm like, yeah, I don't know why. I was like, putting the two together, but it was stuff I wasn't really encountering. I wasn't factoring in.
Yeah. Yeah.
That
But
would get me.
yeah. And, we're always more afraid of people out there, because you just don't know who's you're going to run up against. I mean, and again, 99% of the people out there are probably just lovely people out for a walk, out to go camping, out to just enjoy nature. But all you need is one group of drunken frat guys who are armed, or some serial killer, or just some like really mentally ill person who likes stabbing people. I mean, you just don't know who you're going to run into out there. And nature, for the most part, is, if you know how to deal with it, you can deal with it. You don't bring your food into camp. There's certain things you got to do to make sure that bears don't come in, and they still will, but you got to know how to deal with them. And yeah, being armed is great. And, nothing will prevent this from happening 100%, but you got to learn how to deal with it. But yeah, we're always more fearful of the human element than anything else. Nature, you can kind of prepare for, you bring a poncho, bring extra provisions. And again, that doesn't mean you're not going to have a bad time, because you might, but you'll survive it. But you got to be careful of people out there on the trail too, because you just never know who you're going to and everybody we've ever encountered has been wonderful. So that's great. Like, we've never really come across anybody we've been like, ooh, we got to watch out for this guy tonight. Sketchy. Yeah, everybody's been great. So
ooh, that's good that you have that. Let's hope that streak continues.
Yeah, I hope so.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
yeah, we were walking. We went to Cumberland Island. It's in Georgia, and we were walking. We got off the ferry and we had all day, so we walked the whole island. And we were in this one part that it's like a camp. It's not the campsite part, but there's it's restroom, shower, stuff like that. It's off the beach, and it might be called Sea Camp, actually, now that I think about it. But there was a guy coming, it was Christmas Eve, I think, and nobody was like, it was the best time to go because nobody was there. But then here comes this one guy, and Wayne had gone to the bathroom, and I was goofing around taking the canopy there was just stunning. So I'm trying to get pictures and I can't. It's frustrating me. Here comes this guy, and he was radiating just anger, and I was like, oh my God, Wayne would not be able to come out and help me in time. And I'm like, just get out of the guy's way. Like, he didn't say anything, but he definitely had a look, and he just like glared as he walked by. I'm like, oh my God, like, this guy is a bad dude. And luckily he just went on. We didn't see him the rest of the time, but it's scary. Like, even that. And the worst thing there were the horses, because they tell you, they're wild. Don't feed them. Don't touch them. Don't try to pet them. They'll kick, they'll bite. And you can't get off that island fast. They have to either helicopter you, or it's a 45-minute ferry ride back. And good luck getting the ferry there. So we were walking on this narrow trail going back to the ferry landing. And Wayne I hadn't seen the horse a lot. All the other times we've gone, I've seen horses. Where are the damn horses? I haven't seen the horses. And then he's joking me. He's like, oh, here comes your buddies. And I was like, really? And then he dives into the forest part, and they're running at us. And literally the trail's like this. It's just walls you're just walking with the forest. It's just a path through the forest. So I dive in, and then we got critters, not critters. What's that called? Chiggers.
Yeah.
We got jiggers from diving in to not get you. I'm like, damn it. So that's my dangers, being outdoors, something else like that. Luckily, we didn't get trampled.
Yeah, definitely. That would have been not cool.
Bad.
That would have been very bad. Yeah. Yeah. Chiggers is acceptable to not get trampled.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Of the two evils. But
yeah, it just goes to show, like, nature. You just never know. And
so
people.
Dangerous.
Yeah.
People.
So stop worrying about Bigfoot and ghosts, and worry about nature and people.
Yeah.
The things we know exist.
Biggest dangers.
Yeah. Definitely. And yeah, I mean, I think the same would go for like lake monsters. I mean, you mentioned the water. That would, if you're hunting lake monsters, which again, I think is probably even less popular than Bigfoot hunting.
Yeah, you don't see that too much, except for specials like going to Loch Ness or something.
Yeah, and there are people who do it. I don't know of many who do it like their sole thing. I know of like cryptozoologists who investigate the whole sort of realm of cryptozoology, which is like Bigfoot and lake monsters and Mothman and just any sort of cryptid, but very few who like just solely on lake monsters. But yeah, I would imagine that would be, again, being
Yeah,
out on a
because you
boat.
need to have the boat, and that's not cheap because you have to
Right.
do the gas and you have to have life vests and hopefully know how to swim or another little boat and if you're gonna dive down, you have to know how to dive, and that's all that you're serious if you know all that.
Yeah, exactly. You need to be because the random college kid who just says, "Hey, I want to spook myself tonight," is not going to be like, "Oh, let me rent a boat and all this scuba gear and sonar equipment and and go out on the lake and find this monster." Just not really going to happen, but could be dangerous.
Yeah.
And
And
then
there's never been, while they've been hunting now, of course, there's tons of sea legends about Kraken and all kinds of things. But
mhm.
in our day and age, we don't.
Yeah, we don't really hear about it anymore.
Although I guess a whale did, but I mean, it's not a monster. That's an actual creature or, animal. I did just hear about some people trying to do I forget where they were coming from, somewhere over in Europe or Africa going the other way, I think. And a whale came up and
Oh
smashed
God.
their sailboat, and they had 14 seconds to get everything together and get off. So
Wow.
they survived. So that's good. Their
Yeah,
boat, not so much.
that is good. But yeah, again, nature can hurt you. So you gotta be careful. And then yeah, I guess we'll wrap up with like UFO hunting because people ask me all the time too, like, oh, what's the least dangerous and probably easiest thing to do? And I was like, UFO hunting, you don't need permission. You just look up at the sky. Like you do it from anywhere. You don't have to be deep in the woods. You don't have to be out on a lake. You don't have to be trespassing, in someone's home or business. Like you just go outside and look and to see what you can find. You see if you see anything weird in the sky.
And you could get abducted, but
you could.
I don't think I've ever heard of a UFO hunter getting abducted. They're mostly investigating abduction cases if that's involved.
Yeah, and it's one of those things where I think like with paranormal investigating, you're going into a haunted location where stuff kind of happens regularly. So you have a chance of seeing it. Bigfoot hunting, same thing. Like you're in the area, like, oh, a sighting happened here. Maybe the creature's still in the area. A UFO, like if someone's seeing this fleeting thing,
I don't know.
You get there 3 days later, like this, if the UFO is still there, like you're gonna have hundreds of people looking at it because it never left. But by the time you get there, the danger is probably pretty much gone.
Yeah.
As far as being abducted or seeing an alien or
yeah. You just get lucky if you get to actually see one. I think that's how I feel.
Yeah, and I think a lot of that stuff happens like near Area 51. I know a lot of people go UFO hunting out there.
Oh yeah.
Or like Skinwalker Ranch.
So that's the one I was going to bring up. Yeah.
Yeah, like those areas where there's allegedly just this sort of repetitious activity.
Constant, yeah, and it's more frequent.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's a very interesting one. They have and I'm not sure if it's the actual ranch people or a neighboring property that butts right up to there. But there's if you wanted to go, it's dry camping though, dry camping and RV camping that you can stay there and look down and see. I forget, and they have a tour. You can do a ATV or UTV tour.
Oh, okay.
UTV, I guess it's called. Is that what they call those little 4-wheel dune buggy looking things?
Maybe, I don't know. I've heard of ATV, which is like the all-terrain vehicle.
Yeah.
I don't know what a UTV is, but they all have like, they call them all different things.
Yeah. It might be, I might have the letters, but it's something TV, probably ATV something.
Yeah.
It was very interesting though. I didn't get to go, but I would want to go do that to see, because I just curious what is happening out there. But again, that's where, because it can get so hot there or so cold there, so you have to be cautious of but that's a good one. The UFO hunting, I would say, is the least dangerous of all the
Overall, yeah, I think because
Yeah.
you can do it from anywhere. You don't have to go. I mean, obviously, if you go to a less urban area and more rural, you'll get less light pollution and you can see the
Yes.
sky better. But yeah, I mean, you can do it from anywhere. Just look up in the sky, and if there's gonna be a UFO, you're gonna,
You
you'll see
should
it.
be able
You
to
should be able to
see it.
see it. Like light pollution or not, you should be. I mean, people see UFOs in New York City all the time, so if you can see them here, you can see them anywhere. New
Do they
York, New
really?
York. Oh yeah, yeah.
Oh my gosh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, there's a lot of UFO sightings here. I know people who've seen stuff. I've seen stuff here.
Really?
I think even John Lennon, because he's in that song, somebody told me there'd be days like these. He mentions UFOs over New York because I think he had a sighting in New York City. Um, yeah, people see things.
Dang.
Yeah,
Oh
yeah.
man, I was living in Phoenix when the Phoenix lights happened, and I was
Oh wow.
so pissed. I woke up the next morning and everybody's talking about the lights. And we would have been able to see them from our house if I had known, or I wouldn't have gone outside, but I was so mad. I was like, what are you talking about? And then the Fife Symington, I will never forget this. They were like, I came home from work. They're like, there's going to be a big conference. I'm like, this is it. They're going to say. And then he just made total farce
Total
of
fun
it.
of it. Yeah, that
Oh
was
man, I was like, you son of a biscuit.
such a dick move on his part. Yeah.
So bad. Man, it was so, but I that like my one time when maybe I could have seen something, but every time when we're on a cruise and I look because it's
Oh
dark
yeah.
skies and
Hmm.
can really see the stars. I'm like, UFO, no UFO. I just want to see one. But you said you saw one, you think
Yeah, I mean,
something?
I did an episode on it. So if you want to check, I'll put a link
Okay.
in the description below. But yeah, it was like a black triangle, almost like a pyramid. It was like kind of flat on the bottom and kind of pointed at top, but not like a perfect pyramid. It was more like a flatter pyramid. And it was in the distance. I timed it. It was like 48 minutes. It just hovered in the same location. And it was distant. It was very far away. I couldn't really see much detail except that it was black and it was triangular shaped. And I was watching it from my car. I was on a very busy stretch of like shopping area in Brooklyn. And it was early in the morning. It was probably like 10 in the morning or 9 in the morning. And I'm just in my car listening to the radio. And this is before like modern cell phones. Like I don't even know if I had like a flip phone yet. It was probably right on the cusp of people like the cell phones becoming sort of accessible to the everyday person, not just like the CEOs or whatever. So I couldn't take a picture of it. I couldn't take video, but I watched it and I'm in the car and I'm just listening to song after song. And at a certain point, I was like, all right, that's like 4 songs now. And this thing hasn't moved. Like it's not a helicopter. It's not a plane. I got out of the car. I walked like a block up closer to it. And I was I didn't want to talk to anybody about it. Um, I was much younger at the time, I was like in my 20s. Um, but I was kind of like gauging to see if anybody was looking at it as well. And nobody was. I mean, it was very distant and people were just shopping. It was like, like a Monday morning or a Tuesday morning and everybody was just hustle and bustle of shopping. I went back to the car. I kept watching it. At one point, it like dropped sparkly stuff. Like you can see like little sparkles coming out of the bottom of it. I don't know what that was. And yeah, I was probably about 45, 48 minutes into it. It was over 45 minutes. I forget if it was like 46 or 48, but it was over 45 minutes. And then it was gone in the blink of an eye. I literally like blinked and I was like, where did it go? I didn't see it move off. It was just gone.
Gone.
And I went home and I remember searching like the UFO databases for days and like the news reports. I was like, did anybody see this? No one else ever
Nothing.
saw it, but I sat and watched it for like over 45 minutes. It just sat in the sky,
Oh my
broad daylight.
gosh.
Yeah.
Oh, so we did have, it wasn't a UFO though. Have you ever heard of a Bonnie, Ebani? I'm not even sure if I'm saying the initials
No.
right, but I forget what that stands for. Like something life. I don't know what the letters. I wrote about it and I put a YouTube up because I actually did catch it,
Oh, okay.
and it looks like it's basically not that it's a UFO. It's like a living unidentified life form kind
Oh,
of
yeah,
a
yeah,
thing.
yeah.
And it looked like balloons at first, but the way it was drifting was real weird. And I we were waiting in a Famous Dave's parking lot to pick up our order. I'm like, look at that, Wayne. And normally he's like, he'll just dismiss stuff, but he's like, that is kind of weird. And so we were watching, for a good several minutes. And I'm like, is it balloons? Because it kind of looked like it could be a group of balloons. But then all of a sudden, one part kept going this way. The other part broke off like very distinctly and went back the way it had been coming, which that's not a balloon, thermal kind of, it shouldn't have reacted. It looked like it was propelling itself. It was very weird. And I think I had sent it to another friend who's really into UFOs, and she's like, that looks like an Abani. And so she was sending me stuff, but the stuff in the Abani things she was sending me didn't quite look the same. But then somebody else finally had one that sort of looked similar. So I don't know if it was or wasn't, but I don't think it was, but it was so weird though. But it was broad daylight, like you said. Wow. It's like, what is happening? What is that?
And you have video of it?
I have video of it, yeah. So I put it up, and I'll send you the link, and you can see it. Oh
yes, please. I'll insert it in the video here so people can watch it. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Whoa. Maybe somebody else will know. Maybe they will know. Is it really a balloon? It just didn't move that same way. So I don't know what it was.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
Very, very. Yeah, I'd love to see that. So yeah, please send me the link.
Okay.
I'll put it in here. Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, I guess we'll wrap it up. I've kept you long enough.
Oh yeah, gosh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's a Sunday night. I don't want to keep you too long.
It's so easy to talk with you. So
I know. We have so much fun. And
yeah,
we have to do this again. We have another topic. I'll be on your show. We'll do that topic for your show.
Yes.
We'll keep that a secret for now. But
okay. It's gonna be a good one.
Yes, but I want to be on your show again. And we'll have to do like maybe at some point we'll do like a live or something where it doesn't matter how long we go. We just talk. And if people want to listen, they can listen, and
that would be fun.
It's us making each other laugh.
I haven't done a live in a long time, so that would be.
Yeah, I've never done one. So
really,
yeah, I'm too nervous to do. I get nervous doing these. Yeah,
but you're so good at it.
I'm good at hiding it, and a little bit of liquid courage always helps.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
because you're like a pro.
That's the image I'm trying to project. I am not, but
it's working. It's
thank
true.
you.
That is the image I'm receiving.
Okay. Well, that's good to know. But yeah, do you have any other thoughts before we wrap this up on any other dangers of investigating any of these things?
I don't think so.
I'm sure we've missed stuff, but
yeah. But that'll be good things for people to comment. So
yes. Good idea, Courtney. Yeah. So if you guys, put it in the comments if you guys have any other thoughts on the dangers of paranormal investigating, anything that we missed, or anything you guys disagree with, or if you do agree with us, we love hearing those comments too. It's better than some of the comments I get where people yell at me and call me bad names. It hurts my heart.
Do you really get those?
Sometimes. I know. It's part and parcel. It comes with being on the internet. Like there's always gonna be somebody who just doesn't like my face, or trolls. Yeah, and you said something I disagree with. Yeah, I don't agree with you, so I got to call you names. And
you know what it is? It's the demons. The demons possess them.
The demons made them do it. Yeah, we'll chalk it up to that.
That's funny.
All right. Well, this has been awesome. Thank you so much for doing this.
Thank you. Thank you for having me on again.
Of course. Anytime. And if you want me on your show, let me know. I will come on at any point.
Well, that's a given.
Yeah. Yeah.
But we just have to set the date. That's the only.
Exactly. But yeah, we will definitely do this again. But thank you so much. This was an awesome conversation. I had so much fun.
Thank you. Me too. Thank you.
Yeah. All right, Court. So thank you so much, and we'll be in touch soon.
Okay.
All right. Bye.
Bye.
Okay, so I want to thank Courtney Mroch for coming on again. My friend Courtney, we have so much fun together. I hope that comes across in the videos. I can't imagine it doesn't. We were just saying off air that we're kind of kicking ourselves that we didn't do this sooner because we just get along so well. We always have, but vlogging or YouTubing or podcasting just never really occurred to us to do it together until now. So, but hopefully we'll have many more episodes. I'm going to put links in the description below so everybody can find our old episodes together. You can find Courtney's site, hauntjaunts.net, which is an awesome resource for information. Courtney's just great, wealth of knowledge, and just so much fun to talk to. So, as she said in the episode, if you guys have thoughts on other dangers of paranormal investigating, whether it's ghosts or Bigfoot or UFOs or something we haven't mentioned, Mothman, if you're going to hunt for Mothman, I'm sure there's some dangers there. If you guys have thoughts, put them in, there's my hand, the comments below. And we'd love the dialogue. We love talking to you guys. So, let us know your thoughts. If we missed anything, if you agree with us, if you disagree with us, let us know. We'd love to hear. And until next week, rock and roll, everybody.